Thom Browne and guests pose with a dog-headed man that's part of the designer's installation at Barney's, New York. Robin Givhan. The Washington Post, by Robin Givhan. Fashion critics. September 6, New York. As Fashion Week begins here and the industry turns its attention to spring 2019, the Barney's, New York windows along Madison Avenue contain no clothes, no fancy housewares, no products at all. Instead, austere Venetian blinds hang in the street-facing windows, clicked closed. That's it. That's the display: morning, noon, and night windows that you can't see into. The absence of stuff is in celebration of Thom Browne, the contrarian American designer who over the life of his eponymous brand has refused to listen to conventional wisdom, or perhaps even common sense, and has emerged victorious. His creative vision has remained undiluted. His brand's point of view is remarkably clear. And the recent sale of a majority of his company for $500 million offers financial proof that consumers, men and millennials, in particular, may actually want something more than fancy sneakers and jeans. 14 years ago, Browne shrunk the suit. Shoppers scratched their head in confusion, and observers laughed at Browne's fans, with their trousers floating high above their naked ankles. Many presumed it was a silly fad, but Browne refused to back down. He readily admits, stubborn. Browne's obsessive focus has given the menswear industry an entirely new silhouette that has been knocked off at every price point. It's offered men a different way of thinking about tailoring. He's made the business suit the epitome of edgy style. Barney's honored Browne's accomplishments at a Wednesday dinner that also kicked off a September-long collaboration with the designer that includes a capsule collection, housewares, made-to-measure offerings for both men and women, a surreal film celebrating the suit, a Thom Browne burger at its in-store restaurant, and an Instagram-worthy installation featuring a dog-headed man. The Thom Browne burger, and accompaniments at Barney's, New York. Robin Givhan. The Washington Post, in her toast to Browne, Daniela Vitale, Barney's chief executive, gave a nod to the designer's magnificent stubbornness. As an executive at Gucci, she hired Browne to helm the men's division. Gucci, to be clear, was a fashion leader. 2 days before Browne was due to begin, he called to say he couldn't do it. He decided to launch his own menswear line, which was a bit like announcing that you wouldn't be taking that coaching job with the Yankees because you were starting your own baseball team. Browne persevered through the 2008 recession, which nearly put him out of business. He took on investors, but retained control of the company. He mesmerized audiences with runway shows featuring ice rinks and English gardens, unicorns and mob funerals. He added women's wear to the company. He embroidered dresses with buttons and with mink. And he created a handbag modeled after his dog Hector, a miniature wire-haired Dachshund. A Hector bag from fall 2017. Jonas Gustafsson. MCV photo for The Washington Post, a normal person's guide to understanding a Fashion Week runway show. As the American fashion industry became more infatuated with streetwear, athleisure and a million iterations of sneakers and Birkenstocks, Browne continued to tailor and embroider, and propose fashion as something requiring energy and commitment. Other designers went in search of the perfect white t-shirt. Browne was on a quest for a perfect white Oxford shirt. 7th Avenue was devoted to luxury hoodies. Browne was optimizing the possibilities of a great flannel suit. One of Browne's many meditations on the gray suit, from fall 2018. Jonas Gustav's an MCV photo for The Washington Post. In an industry in which every designer seems to be crafting some form of streetwear, Browne is blunt. "I don't do streetwear," he says. "If that's what you want, don't come to me." He has, however, done his version of athletic wear. Around 2008, he says, he made track pants. Most likely they were cashmere. Last month, he announced that he'd sold 85% of his company to Italy's Zegna Group, known for its businessman suits, fabric mills and manufacturing facilities. In announcing the purchase, Ermenegildo Zegna said, "Tom's visionary approach and his unique point of view have enabled him to build and nurture the most loyal clientele. On this strong footing, and thanks to a thriving women's business and strong appeal with millennials, we believe that we can build long-term value for all of our stakeholders." Thom Browne is part of a business strategy to attract millennial consumers. This recognizes that the oldest millennials are closing in on their 40th birthday and perhaps are ready for a more sophisticated wardrobe. Perhaps they are ready to invest in clothes rather than indulge in fast fashion. And maybe, just maybe, not every millennial guy was all that enthusiastic about streetwear to begin with. That stance frankly delights Vitali, who notes that fashion has to be prepared to offer customers something enticing and interesting once the allure of streetwear fades, and, make no mistake, she says, it will fade, because that's the nature of fashion. What Browne offers is tailoring and formality and whimsy. His clothes are rooted in the American classics of the 1950s, but with modern fabrics. He embraces the idea of fashion, not as a way to be weird or unnerving, but as a way to make his clothes contemporary rather than vintage. And the humor he brings to his clothes is charming rather than sarcastic, lighthearted rather than biting. He balances rigor with impishness. As designers unveil their spring 2019 collections, an underlying question is, what exactly does a designer like Browne represent? Has he edged out a path that others can follow? Or is his apparent success a bit of a lightning strike of both hard work and luck? At dinner, the room was full of guests dressed in Browne's many shades of gray. If fashion is entertainment, they look like characters from literary fiction, rather than reality TV. The actress Danai Gurira of Black Panther fame wore a Thom Browne jacket covered with gray flannel flowers.